This is Colin O'Keefe with another episode of LXBN TV. In a story that's been discussed by a few publications on the Lex Blog Network, a woman in Ohio brought a religious accommodations claim against her former employer for firing her for an incident stemming from her veganism. Joining me today to discuss the case is Robin Shea of Constangy, Brooks & Smith, and her blog, The Employment and Labor Insider. Robin, first off, for those who haven't gotten wind of this case, give us the backstory here. What's going on?
Well, there's not a whole lot of backstory because this was a very preliminary court decision, but what we know is that the plaintiff, and I'm probably butchering her name, but Miss Chenzira, was a vegan, meaning that she did not believe in consuming animal products or byproducts, and she was a customer service representative at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. The hospital, as most hospitals do, required employees to get annual flu shots. And what we've learned from reading this decision is flu shots are made in part from chicken eggs. And Ms. Chenzira didn't want to get the flu shot because she was a vegan and didn't want to get a flu shot that was made in part from an animal product. So the hospital had actually been accommodating her for about 10 years and for whatever reason decided they couldn't do that anymore or weren't willing to do it anymore. And so in 2010, when she refused to get the shot, they terminated her employment. That's pretty much the story. The only other detail we know is that she did apparently claim a biblical basis for her refusal to consume animal products or byproducts.
Mm-hmm. And of course, much of this, it being, protected status comes from it being, almost a religious belief or being close to that. For the plaintiff's claim to stand in this, must her veganism be religious in nature, or can she be fired for being vegan for moral or non-religious reasons?
In this case, again, the plaintiff did claim some biblical justification for her position. But the EEOC's position on religious beliefs, you almost need to put religion in quotes because it certainly encompasses the traditional religions that we all know so well, and also untraditional religions if they're based on a belief in a supreme being or some cosmic force that controls everything. But the EEOC's position is that a religion for Title VII purposes also encompasses a moral or ethical belief system if it is held with the strength or the force of a traditional religious belief. So under the EEOC's standard, I think, if someone has a sincerely held belief system that it is morally wrong to consume an animal or an animal product or an animal byproduct, arguably that is a religion entitled to protection under Title VII.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. As you mentioned, this is a very preliminary part of this case, so it's going to be interesting to see which way this goes, especially with, veganism being a much bigger thing nowadays. So it's going to be interesting to see which way this goes going forward. Once again, that was Robin Shea of the Employment and Labor Insider. For more of her insight, be sure to visit employmentandlaborinsider.com. And to see commentary from the Lex Blog Network's thriving employment law community, visit the Employment and Labor section on lxbn.com. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Colin.